Alright, that's annoying. Sorry about that. Double Vengevine, okay. Sorry about that. That's weird. I'll have to manually put these videos together after the fact. This is the first match of this league. So I have 2 snap paths here, so we're not in that bad of a spot, right? I get to go ahead and Snapcaster path one of these. They'll shoot it down, and then we'll take 5 down to 14 here. I don't think Teferi Tribal is going to happen. I think that's pretty unlikely. I think that sounds just like bad blue-white control. And blue-white control, like, already struggles. So, like, taking a deck that's already not good and then, like, making it worse with this weird deck building construction. Not with that attitude. So now I can snap path this Vengevine and then have Logic Knot up still, which is nice. Yeah, Path to Exile is very good in this matchup. Very, very good. That's unfortunate. All right, we're gonna Snapcaster target path in response here. Then I think I just let this resolve. It's unfortunate because it could take away my Nahiri follow-up here, but, you know, YOLO. I don't think this is worth burning a Logic Knot on. What if we just play Teferi and Brawl, chat? What if we just play Teferi there? What if we just play Teferi Tribal and Brawl? Wait. Alright, well now they did this, so I can Logic Knot this for 1. Since their sequencing is bad here and they wanted to have 6. Send this out of here. Sweet. Another Nahiri is decent. Go ahead and just exile this. They neglected to deal appointed damage to us, so that's exciting. You have a Spell Snare for something like a Goblin Lore potentially here. Gideon is great. I get to go ahead and plus this Nahiri. I think I would have been the Spell Snare. Probably the worst card in our hand. Just turned it into another one. Opponent hard locked on that F6 strategy, right? They are the bridge from below build. Interesting. Tell us the democracy it will take. I'll build it for 100, Justin. For 100, I will build it and play it. Chad goes there, do this. We're getting pretty close to the Nahiri ultimate. Ooh, that was a good pickup. That could prevent Nahiri from ulting, which is sad. The Colonnade does a good job playing defense here, which is nice. Cryptic's an excellent pickup. We're just gonna bin this Sulfur Falls, I think. Justin really lives up to his name, doesn't he? Yes, yes he does. Yes, yes he does. Most certainly does. Bum-ba-da-dum-ba-da-dum-ba-da-da-da-da-da. Do I want to play this search? Probably. I just have Cryptic Command to like tap draw for a turn here. I'm gonna tap their team and draw a card. So I keep them off my planeswalkers. It's a good question, Burgle. It's one you often have to ask on Magic Online. What on God's green earth are you trying to accomplish, opponent? Are they gonna let me ult this Nahiri? The last deck got Goblin Guided out of the event. Again, died very, very quickly. All right, I'm just gonna bring in a bunch of ways to kill their stuff, right? Logic Knot's pretty bad here. Spell Snare's pretty bad here. Just bring in some more removal. Seems fine. Is Rest in Peace good enough? Yeah, I guess they're a Vengevine deck, right? So Rest in Peace is probably great. Trying to search for Azcanta. I like it. I like it. I like a lot of the details in this Jeksai deck. I like a lot of the details in this Jeksai deck. I have not just an ordinary stack of Pringles, but a mega stack of Pringles here, chat. The classic mega stack. I think this hand's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and keep. You've got a Abrade for an early hollow one. I got a cantrip to set up on one. Pringles, if you're out there, okay, we can talk. You definitely talk. Me and 1,000 of my closest friends would love to talk about a Pringle sponsorship. I am currently standing. I have a standing desk, so I do my best to split my time while streaming, 50% sitting, 50% standing. We went 3-2 with the blue-red deck. I punted against 8-Whack, and the Grixis control matchup seems really bad. What's going on, Sir of T? Welcome. Happy Saturday. I hope everyone's having a great weekend. Speaking of 1,000 of my closest friends, I appreciate everyone choosing to spend part of your Saturday here with us. There's a lot of really excellent people streaming on Twitch right now, so I appreciate you choosing to spend part of your day here with me. They just chose to make a bunch of zombies with this bridge, so I think I'm just gonna bolt these zombies down. Like, they spent cards making these zombies, so I'm just gonna, like, trade removal spells for them. Yeah, the uplift is great. Really, really like the stuff they do. Been really happy. We actually have a second uplift desk upstairs for Christy. I have a really wide one. I wasn't sure how well the motors were going to handle 3 monitors plus my tower, but it has no problems. Really quality hardware. I've had it for almost 6 months now. That's a Vengevine. We could just get run out of this game here. Yep. I really wish Upload would have given me a referral code, because I sent them an email because I know I've sold more than one of their desks. Yeah, this is, if you're interested in seeing more of the opponent's deck, Holy Shamgar and Holy Diva have both streamed and played it a whole bunch, so they've definitely done some content with it in the past. Pretty recently, too. I think we're just dead here, right? And these are the board stage that remind me of 2 things. 1, Splinter Twin is too good for Modern, and 2, Stoneforge Mystic is too good for Modern. That's what you just got to keep that in mind, chat. When you look at what the opponent's doing, you just have to remember that Stoneforge Mystic is too strong. That's just gotta repeat that slowly to yourself while you rock back and forth just like this. Back and forth just like this. Yeah, Shamgar's good people. Very, very sharp individual, very pleasant on stream. Not in my format. Get out of here. You wanna do something powerful on turn 3, you gotta kill your opponent or play Karn. I agree, Shannon. Terminus is really good right now. I mean, we don't really know what Wizards of the Coast has on short list to ban or unban. Wizards of the Coast is not transparent at all with their banning and unbanning decisions. Is Sphere good enough? I feel like it's maybe it's better than the Search for Azcanta. I'll board in 1. I don't think I ever want to draw 2, but 1's probably fine. Democracy for Combo Town. Thank you for the bits, Nicobolas. I mean, this hand's reasonable, right? Like, I'm not mulliganing this hand. We could definitely just get run out of the game by one of their good starts, but this is definitely a hand that's a keep. And to give Moto the re-kick after this game. It's non-zero chance that Moto needing a restart has possibly caused OBS to lock up. Honestly, I kind of wish that they would just unban most things that aren't like the really obviously busted cards. Like, there's a short list of cards that very obviously need to stay banned in Modern because they're completely degenerate. Chromox, Rite of Flame, Skull Clamp, Glimpse of Nature, like those cards, Umezawa's GT, some of those are cards that just like, these are very obviously like offensive design mistakes. Please don't make them legal. But honestly, a lot of things like, I feel like they could, that's a good one to draw after they thought sees us. I feel like Wizards has a lot of leeway where they could just like make a bunch of stuff be legal and then see what shakes loose afterwards. I think we could probably put Dig Through Time, Treasure Cruise, probably even like Cloud Posts and stuff like that. I think Cloud Post is probably worse than Tron Lands in Modern, in all honesty. So, my biggest problem with Umezawa's GTA and Punishing Fire is that those cards punish the type of magic that you really want to encourage people to play. Cards like Umezawa's GTA and Punishing Fire destroy the interactive mid-range decks that you generally want to be present in the format. Turn 2, 10 power, yep. Turn 2, 12 power. So we're going to 16, we're going to 15, we're going to 14. We're going to go to 10 from this Hallowed one hit last turn, but my opponent's mostly blown their load here. So maybe we can pivot into making this be a winnable game. I mean, GTA's not even that good in Legacy. Like, Stoneforge Mystic isn't that impressive right now in the current Legacy format. I just want my Birthing Pods and my Splinter Twins in the format. Like, if I want to choose to play these cards and die before they're relevant, I just want the option to play the card and then die before it's relevant. Is that asking so much? I just want to have the option to play the card and die. Banner ads on the stream start at $200 a month. For what we'll advertise on there past that is, you know, up for debate. That's the base price. Most things that aren't inoffensive or borderline scams, reasonable products, yeah, pretty much advertise anything starting at that price. If I unban Splinter Twin, my unbanned t-shirt will become irrelevant. That's the real first world problems right there, right? I've paid to get an unbanned Splinter Twin t-shirt made. So I'm going to path this. I think I'm just going to bolt this, honestly. Just, like, keep their board pretty clear. You could maybe make an argument that I'm supposed to field this turn and just take 2, but I kind of just want to preserve my health total. Pathing my opponent here does give them the ability to unlock their flashbacks on their Faithless Lootings, which is definitely a consideration. That's a pretty good draw. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna Nahiri and bin this Cryptic Command. Just like, because the Cryptic Command's gonna take a little bit too long to become relevant, I think. Ding. It's a pretty good blocker down the line. Baleful Strix should be a sweet card in Modern. I like that. It's a good card that, like, puts a roadblock up for the control decks, but, like, is still cantrips even when it's not good. Been to Nature's Claim. Been to another Bridge from Below. That's kind of scary. What do we have here for 1 mana? They have not a Delve card. They could have a Hooting Mandrills. This card deck play Hootie. Neonate. Neonate's scary because it puts two zombies into play. If they attack with this, I get to exile it, which is nice. They can't actually activate this, right? Because it... Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and exile this. And then, do I hold this island or not? Well, I mean, Baleful Strix is not the reason Baleful Strix is popular in Legacy. Deathrite Shaman is the reason Baleful Strix sees so much play in Legacy. Wonder if cutting them off black does anything relevant here. I could just race. Do I want to field them here? Fielding them or not is actually a question, right? Cutting them off black means no anglers. I don't know if their deck actually plays angler. I think I'm going to cut them off of black. I think that's reasonable. There's also merit to just racing with Colonnade, I think, but I think I like just being a little bit conservative this turn. I don't think I want to start racing before I cast the Blessed Alliance to gain 4. They don't have another land, so that was just Wasteland, so that was excellent. No, just Wastelanding them there? 10 out of 10 in for that. I guess there's probably not a lot of room for basics in their deck. The deck's pretty. Makes Endless one smaller, yep. So this is actually an interesting question. Do I want to... I think I actually just want to gain 4 here and not make them sacrifice, because there's 2 bridges in their bin. So, like, they turn this into 4 power if I make them Edict it. That's a Snapcaster Mage, and I drew a Path to Exile. Well, those are... I'm going to bottom this one for starters. Let's just get that out of there. Yeah, actually, I get to exile this. And then I have Path for this. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. That's exciting. This deck is sweet. Nahiri feels really good. Gideon feels good too. I like that Nahiri and Gideon are just like flexible cards. Like these control decks generally have what I like to refer to as like wrong half problem. And like having Nahiri and Gideon in them are flexible cards that are both answers, but also proactive. So they kind of work to solve that wrong half problem that these decks tend to have. I'm going to plus here and not discard the Snapcaster Mage. And I'm going to go ahead and just ship with my Colonnade here. They're dead in 3 to this. Bin 2 cards. They binned another bridge and a Nature's Claim. Bridge zombies don't have haste. They're down to 5. Okay, that's aggressive. What do they have here? Alright, so that's a concession? Because they're dead to Colonnade now? All right, let's, not gonna do a full sellout bit just yet, but I'm gonna restart Magic Online really quick, so enjoy the sponsor page for half a second while I do that. Thanks everyone for hanging out this morning, though. Happy Saturday, hope everyone's having a fun pre-release weekend. Playing some Magic together. We're 1-0 in this league with Jeksai and Nahiri. 4 more matches to play with this deck, and then we're gonna be moving on to some other fair decks. We have Grixis control deck as well as Jund mid-range. We're playing a bunch of decks that we're gonna shove Damping Spheres into the sideboard of. See how it all shakes loose. Yeah, I overestimated my SSD. Magic Online can only go so quickly. .NET applications. Happens more times than I care to admit. It is currently afternoon in America, so it is 1:15 p.m. where I am at. This is, an OBS crash, so I don't have a quick reference. So I have to think here. We've been streaming for a little over 4 hours. We've got 7-ish more hours, maybe more. We'll see how we're feeling of stream going on. All modern today. I think the only thing I'm not a huge fan of in this specific build of Jeksai, just looking at it on paper, is I think the Logic Knots alongside Search and 4 Snapcaster Mage are probably a little bit greedy. I'm more incentivized to play something like Mana Leak, especially with Nahiri in my deck, because one of the reasons Jeksai tends to shy away from Mana Leak is it becomes a dead draw in the mid to late game, but Nahiri is the type of card that allows us to filter through those potentially dead draws. So I like that Mana Leak's a card that's more powerful early, and then we can just cycle through it later with Nahiri. All right, found a Damping Sphere matchup. So this is card for card a user submitted deck list, except I took the person had submitted this deck list before Damping Sphere was legal. So I took the 2 Ceremonies rejections they had in their sideboard and replaced them with Damping Spheres. Yeah, Burgle, I agree. I like a lot of the decisions that this deck has made. So, and this is going to show why, like, Jeksai control tends to be a little bit better than blue-white control in some of these more combo matchups, because, like, all of these cards here are about to just become reach here, right? I'm just going to, like, take these cards, and I'm going to point them upstairs, and just, like, hope my opponent blasts off here. Do I own physical cards? I own 4 Altered Birds of Paradise, and then I own some random cards that are framed, like a Kiki Jiki, a Restoration Angel, a Court of Calling, Spell Stutter Spray, Gliss of the Trader, just like random memento keepsakes, but I don't own any physical Magic decks. I have a box of bulk that the kids like to play with. I'm just gonna go ahead and Logic Knot this. I guess they can pay for this with Lotus Bloom. So maybe this is bad. Your Gliss of the Trader deck was what got me back into Magic after a 7-year hiatus. That deck was so much fun. It's my first open top 8. Oh, that's true, Burgle. Am I dying this turn? Are their last 3 cards Pact of Negation, Ad Nauseum? Oh, they just have Ad Nauseum, but they're going to go off next turn, right? Yeah, that sounds right. Oh, Cryptic Command, you are 1 card too late. So they're going to kill us during their upkeep. They're going to kill us during their upkeep in response to the pack trigger. Or maybe they'll just Angel's Grace and we're really lucky. No, they're just going to kill us in response here. How much for a Signed Anticipate? I think I have some of those left. I need to check. But I generally don't mind mailing them out to folks. This sideboard's got a plan. We've got, like... I just had a bunch of cards. Like, this swap feels really clean. I get to cut all of these. I get to cut Spell Snare. Spell Snare's pretty terrible here, right? Spell Snare's pretty... Is Spell Snare versus Bolt? Where do we land on that? I think I like Bolt better. Spell Snare counters, like, exactly Pentad Prism. Nope, just working through the queue. Yep, Iller. The Twitch community here has been very, very wonderful in supporting my content here. So when I have a free weekend like this, I want to make sure I give a little bit back here. Work through as much as humanly possible. This hand's a little slow, but Stony is reasonable, Clique is reasonable, Search will hopefully help me find the lands that I need. Nahiri's technically disruption in this matchup too, because she can take Phyrexian Unlice off the table. So I think I'm okay keeping this hand. I wouldn't fault anyone for mulliganing it, but I think this is pretty reasonable, especially on the play. Ooh, piece of candy. I'm gonna get the Search for Azcanta going first, though. Hi, wife. My wife brought me food because she's wonderful. Abrade. I have Stony Silence and need a white land, so let's spin that. Ding. Ring-a-ding-ding. That's... yeah, this is my Damping Sphere. It's gonna slow your jam down. So Damping Sphere makes their combo cost... So Ad Nauseam costs 1 more, and then Lightning Storm costs 2 more, so it adds 3 mana to their total going off cost. And they don't have any artifacts. I'm gonna bin this, I think. They don't have any artifacts going on right now, so I think I'm just gonna go ahead and play Nahiri and get her plus going. Is binning Stony Silence aggressive here? I don't think it is. I think I'm gonna bin the Stony Silence. And like, again, one of the things I really like about Nahiri in the Jeksai deck is now our opponent needs to combo, right? Because otherwise this is gonna get an Emrakul and take all their lands away. Lad Chad. I think I just want to land here. I think I just want to fill my graveyard up. Cryptic Command. Yeah, that one's pretty good. That one's pretty good. Let's not forget to plus her. Ding. No, they can bounce the Chad emblem. They can bounce Chad in response to the emblem. That's true. With the Sphere, it's probably pretty good. Between Clique plus Cryptic Command here, though, Nahiri's ultimate should put this game away. I didn't have double white, though. If I could cast the Chad last turn, I think it's fine, but I couldn't cast the Chad. All right, they're just dead, right? It's gonna take all their lands away here. No reason to do anything. Nobody move. Hope we don't draw Emrakul. If there's not an Emrakul. This making sure we don't draw Emrakul is so good. I'm taking that bolt just because I don't want to draw Emrakul. Oh, it's also lethal, right? Sphere seems quite good when it's backed up by a clock. They have Echoing Truth to bounce Gideon. For people that are wondering how they beat Chad Emblem, they bounce the Gideon with Echoing Truth. Yeah, there's no reason to risk drawing the Emrakul there, basically. We did unfortunately get Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Yeah, I got a little tiny baby pizza. It's reasonable. Is this good enough? Like, Logic not just looking much, much worse than Mana Leak here, right? Wear Tear are both pretty relevant. I guess this is fine. I've got Serum Visions to plow through to stuff. I went to a bot and I bought them for tickets. Bottom. Hey, 1105 HK. Thank you very much for the Twitch Prime support. I really appreciate that. There's a lot of excellent people streaming on Twitch right now, so I appreciate you choosing to put your Amazon sub towards my channel this month. Search for Azcanta. Sign me up. Choosing to shock rather than fetch here because I just bottomed 2 lands, so I'd prefer not to redraw those. You articulate why you like Nahiri's in this deck. Is it akin to Stoneforge and Legacy where it provides a clock at a reasonable pace, or because it's filtering? It's both of those things. I think Nahiri works towards solving 2 problems that this type of deck generally has. The first of those type of problems is her looting ability lets you work through the wrong half problem that these decks often have. And then the flip side of that is her ability to put pressure on your opponent to answer the things that you're doing, puts pressure on them and allows you to actually close games out. So she solves the wrong half problem in addition to your lack of a clock problem. Opponent doesn't have another land. That's great. This search for Azcanta is just punching the clock and going to work here. I think I'm actually just going to snap Serum Visions here. Just like try and find more action here, filter a little bit. I'm actually gonna fetch 2 before I do this. And I already played a land for the turn, I think, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put this into play tapped, since we're not gonna be able to cast anything anyways. Chad is great. I'm gonna go bottom, or actually, if I'm gonna bottom this anyways, I should just use search to discard it, right? I think I want an untapped land, so I am gonna bottom this. I'll top this because I'm gonna bin it anyways. Although maybe if I'm bottoming, I should go bottom and get the best chance to hit an untapped land. Yeah. Nahiri ends games much faster than Jace, and Jace isn't actually removal. Jace isn't actually removal. Yeah, I should have gone bottom there. That was a mistake on my part. Small missequencing mistake on my part. The good news here is I'm going to get to bolt my opponent's dome and then untap and put a 7th card into my bin with search for Azcanta, which is nice. No, but streaming is my full-time job. Bodhi is a part-time project that doesn't make any money. It makes barely enough money to support itself. And Chad here, in addition to being disruption, he's a really quick clock. We're just like, all right, smack you for 6 here, and then we get to put this Vendilion Clique on the table, and Vendilion Clique is going to be lethal for next turn, right? Geist is in the sideboard for the control and the combo matchups. It came in this matchup, so we can have an additional clock. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do this now. Maybe holding up double logic not as safer, but I like putting lethal on the table here. Bodhi is a Linux distribution that I help maintain. It's something I started during college. You have double Angel's Grave and an Echoing Truth. Huh. I think I just leave them with all of these. I think this is fine. I think I can... Maybe I just get rid of the Echoing Truth. No, I'm just gonna leave it. I'm just gonna leave it. And I forgot to screenshot that. So it's Grace, Truth, Pact, Simeon. That's a great draw. So now they have to burn their Angel's Graces every turn to stay alive. Yeah, those all link to, some of those are mine. One of those is a team project, but you can see a lot of those link back to my GitHub. Thirsty. You put Emrakul into play with Nahiri's ultimate, and if you draw the Nahiri, you discard it to Nahiri's +2. It's an instant. Why don't you dispel it, right? Asking the hard-hitting questions. Fifth blue source there. Means we get to hold up all of these, which is great. Yeah, I agree. I'm not activating Azcanta. Remember, the opponent's combo deck can go off fully at instant speed, so I think I want to just like leave my 3 counters up at all time. Or they're just not gonna Angel's Grace. All right, sweet. Good game's opponent. So we're 2-0. Thank you everyone for hanging out here today. Hope everyone's having a great Saturday, great weekend. If you're new, my name is Jeff Hoagland. I'm a full-time TCG player and content producer, streamer here on Twitch. I stream 30+ hours a week. I'm doing a 12-hour modern stream today. It's just kind of a thank you for all of my subs for showing the support that they've given over the last few months. If you're enjoying the content, please consider subscribing yourself. My subscribers are a big part of why I'm able to do this full-time. You can also support my stuff by supporting my sponsors. MTGOtraders.com would love to buy and sell some Magic Online cards with you. If you use code Hoagland PayPal at checkout with them, you'll save 8% on your singles orders there. CoolStuffInc.com buys and sells a lot of cool stuff, including TCG singles. Using promo code Jeff5, you can save 5% on Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh cards with them. InkedGaming.com would love to help you customize your gaming experience using code Jeff12. You can save 12% on custom playmats, mousepads, binders, and bags with them. Cardsphere.com would love to help you turn your Magic cards into other Magic cards directly with other players. There's no haggling. There, you just take a 1% fee for the cards off the top. And finally, this stream is made possible by viewers like Anaronix, Justin, Nivik, and you. At the very least, if you are new, make sure you hit that follow button. Following the stream doesn't cost you anything, and it lets you know when I go live and with what. I always try and put the names of the decks they're going to be playing on a given day in the stream title. And most of the decks we play here on stream are user-submitted decks. And if you're interested in finding out how I could play your deck on stream, be sure to check out bit.ly/HoogleSellIt as all the details on how we can get your Modern, Legacy, or Pauper deck of choice played here on stream. Or Brawl. We're going to give some Brawl a try, too. I'm interested in kicking that format around. No, I'm not doing any Hex stuff anymore, Mike. There is a Jund deck in the queue. In fact, Jund, we're going to play 2 leagues after this one. So we're going to play, we got 3 more matches in this league with the Jeksai Nahiri deck. And then we're going to play a Grixis control deck. And then Jund is going to be after Grixis control today. So lots of fair decks that we're going to try Damping Spheres in. Geist and St. Trafts are for the matches where you want extra threats and closing power. They come in against other control decks. They come in against, combo decks that you want to close games out quickly. No, I don't think I'm willing to dip into Vintage. I'm not familiar enough with the format, and the format's just like not popular enough to be worth me dedicating time to get familiar with it. It's just, Vintage just isn't accessible. Even on Magic Online, it's far too expensive. Like, Magic Online's the one place where Vintage should be accessible, and it's just not. Hey, Fade Rift, with that brand new Twitch Prime support. If you're one of the many people out there like Fade Rift who has Amazon Prime. You get Twitch Prime included like that with that for free, and Twitch Prime gives you a free channel subscription to a Twitch content producer of your choice every single month. It doesn't cost you anything extra, and it still supports the streamer's content the same as a $4.99 a month subscription. I think I'm going top here. Nah, maybe I don't want the Colonnade just yet. I don't really know what they're playing. I definitely want the Flooded Strand though. Maybe I should keep the Colonnade on top, because if I decide I don't want it, I can fetch it away. Living End, okay. This matchup's probably a little bit hard. Damping Sphere isn't particularly good here. We don't have any negates in our sideboard. All right, I'm gonna mute myself really quick while I devour this pizza, and then we'll be back, because this is probably just gonna be us getting dumpstered. Cappy286, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime subscription. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm a liar. I'm going to talk about what I'm doing. So, one, I don't play in Grand Prix because long tournaments are kind of whatever. If I'm going to spend an entire day or weekend playing Magic, I generally rather stream. And if I'm going to spend the time going to a tournament, I'd rather play an event where I'm more likely to make money playing that tournament. I realize my opponent could Violent Outburst here, but honestly, if they had it, we were just losing the game anyways. We just don't have tools to win this matchup like that, and win a matchup like this. I've got a Rest in Peace and like a Dispel to go with our 4 counter spells here. I'm just gonna go ahead and move on to the next one here. Hey, Crowbar. Memes, rants, timeouts, check, check, check. Thanks for the great content. Thanks for the resub. Thanks for the 5-month re-up in there. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Settle's okay. Like, they're going to be destroying our lands over and over again as part of the problem. So we have, like, 3 cards that may make it kind of okay. It's... honestly, Snapcaster Mage is kind of important in that matchup if you have other tools. So you could argue it kind of hurts us just as much as it hurts them, because it makes our Snapcasters cost 1 more, and it only makes their things cost a single mana more. So it doesn't really affect them that much. Settle is better than the other Wraths, but it's still not great. Like, in order to be competitive in a matchup like that, you probably want, I don't know, 4 plus high impact cards on the board, like Rest in Pieces or Negates and stuff of that nature. If I had to play a deck in a GP, I think this deck's a fine choice if you wanted to play a Grand Prix. I think Modern, one of the reasons why this is such a popular format is because there's, I don't know, a dozen different deck lists at any given point. You could ask me, would that be fine to play in a Grand Prix? And I'd say, yeah, that's probably fine. The blue-white deck that we played was very bad. We did not win any games with it. I think I'm gonna bin this. I just aggressively want to try and find fetch lands, so that way we can take a Blood Moon off the table. I'm gonna shock this in, because if they play a Blood Moon next turn, I want to be able to play Snapcaster Mage and then path my Snapcaster Mage. Kooky, if I had a Modern open this weekend, I would have been practicing and preparing for it. So I really dislike questions like that, because like the actual answer is like, I'm not lazy, I do my homework. So like, if I knew I had an event coming up, I'd put in the hours preparing to find a deck that I wanted to play in that event. I wouldn't just like go off the cuff. Sure, we technically won the game where they conceded. You think I want to minus Utopia Sprawl there? I don't know, they just go like land bolt and kill my Nahiri? That seems pretty annoying, right? I'm gonna bin that for now. I'm gonna exile their Sprawl here. Now I'm gonna exile their Sprawl, and I can exile the Blood Moon next turn, right? Maybe that's greedy. Now I'll take a Logic Knot here. Now we can take them off the Blood Moon. And I can play this. Huh. I can't leave Logic Knot up this turn, huh? Yeah, I think I want to Verdict the Bird. Pretty sure that's what I want to do. We need a bunch of looks at cards this turn. I would love to bin that. I would love to draw a fetch land. I'm gonna go ahead and bin this path here, I think. Sure. Go. When will the Gobos be on approximately? It's hard to know with these fair decks. Goblins is theoretically 4 decks from now. We're playing Grixis after this, Jund after that, and Kiki, Bant Kiki after that, so probably not till closer to the end of the stream. Leagues tend to be anywhere from an hour and a half to two hours per fair deck, generally speaking. Always Verdict the Bird. I think you got that mostly correct, right? There's something about a bird and always doing it for sure, right? Definitely something about a bird and always doing something. No, we're playing an Emrakul in our deck. We have 4 copies of Nahiris and an Emrakul. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and Nahiri down tick and take them off the Sprawl this turn. Because, like, she's pretty far off of ulting anyways. And I don't really have any cards I want to discard. So yeah, I'm just going to keep them off of their mana. And now we should bury them pretty quickly. Yeah. Nahiri's a super powerful card in general. This land. Cryptic Command, sign me up. Yeah, I don't really care about my land dying. I'm gonna counter unless they pay 2, just in case they have like Simian Spirit Guide or something silly. Yeah, Nahiri makes this deck a lot better against Blood Moon. Like you only need to get your basic planes, and then you can take a Blood Moon off the table, and you can do it with your main deck cards. There is a mountain in our deck for playing against Field of Runes and Ghost Quarters, as well as giving your deck the ability to fetch a red source without dealing damage to yourself against decks like Burn. I like how we're still playing Magic here. Opponent does not value their time. More power to him, I guess. I'll just keep doing all the stuff that we do. When you win, and then tens of turns later, the game finally ends, right? All right, assuming we don't draw an Emrakul to go get the big scary. I guess there's a lot of Jeksai decks that haven't played Emrakul recently, so like people might not know that they're actually dead to Nahiri, which is actually kind of sweet. Like the fact that Emrakul has been less common in this archetype with Nahiri gives you a little bit more leeway to like punish people who don't respect the fact that that's what you could have. Oh, this is definitely a wear tear matchup. Do I want anything else? The lack of negates in the sideboard's a little sad. It's another card that would have given us more legs against Living End last match. I like the black-green turbo decks a lot. I think it's one of the best combo decks in Modern currently, in Legacy currently. Staticaster could be okay. I think Clique's a little bit hard to cast. Yeah, I think our main deck's pretty reasonable here. Honestly, I think I'm just supposed to trim Cryptic Command. I don't have, like, they pressure our colored sources, so it's going to be hard to cast on occasion. Do I want this, just this Abrade? Just this Abrade is probably fine. Just, like, more removal. This feels like the best version of Jeksai I have played in a while to set the bar low. I'm not a big fan of a lot of the Jeksai variations that people play in Modern, but I really like what Nahiri does for this deck in general. I'm gonna lead on Colonnade here. I want to give myself a chance to draw a red source and use this to fetch a basic island. Nah, I think Bolt's pretty good. They have planeswalkers and stuff. Perfect. I'm just going to fetch a basic island here, and we'll find a red source eventually. In fact, there's a pretty good chance that my opponent's going to turn a bunch of our lands into red sources next turn. It's a shame we didn't have an option to get a basic plane, so that way we could Nahiri a Blood Moon down, but it is what it is. In fact, looking at this deck list... we are max on Flooded Strands. The problem with Geist is that... wait, did they misclick? I think they might have misclicked there. I think they might have clicked on the wrong land. Flooded Strand, nope. I will take that one. Again, I'm cutting myself off of red mana here, but I'm playing around a Blood Moon a little bit. It's a little awkward because, like, by playing around a Blood Moon, we kind of play into Stone Rain, but it is what it is. Spell Snare. You know, Spell Snare is a card I should have cut. Spell Snare is definitely a card I should have cut. I don't need another Helix at this point either. Spell Snare doesn't target almost anything in their deck, right? Like, occasionally they have Scavenging Ooze, but even that's not super popular. I'll play whatever you want on stream, Rodster. You just gotta check out bit.ly/HugelSellout for details on how I can play your deck of choice on stream. Holy dick, super punished for how I played this Serum Visions. Holy crap, that is certainly a thing that has just happened to us. Wow. Wow, all right. Mistakes were made, chat, mistakes were made. Yeah, we're definitely okay versus choke. I was just punished for tapping this instead of this, right? Look, when your deck has as many bad matchups as Ponza does, you need to really try and slam dunk your few good matchups with cards like choke. I agree in general, I think Ponza's kind of ahead in a matchup like this. Do I want to fetch an island here? Yeah, I think I do, just in case. Because, like, this is going to turn into a red mana here in a second. Like, this island is a one-time use, but I think that'll be fine. We're going to get Nahiri down and get rid of this choke here in a second. I guess if I would have let that resolve, I could have bolted and helixed their things, which is interesting. Maybe that was the line. Oh, I guess I get to flip search this turn though, right? Path to Exile. Yeah, I think I'm probably okay with that. Oh, it means I can't flip search. Crap. Drawing the path means I can't flip search this turn. That's fine. I guess we'll wait a turn to play this Nahiri. Yeah, Azcanta being a mountain would have been fine. I needed a 5th mana in order to play Nahiri plus Bolt this turn, because I can't play Nahiri and downtick and not lose it to the Bloodbraid Elf if I don't have an extra mana. So I should have binned the path there because it would give me 5 mana, and I would have gotten to go Nahiri plus Bolt here. That's a Storm Breath Dragon. That's really bad for us, believe it or not. I'm gonna path this because now I really need to find a second Bolt or a Snapcaster Mage to take the Stormbreath Dragon out. And I need to do it like right now, right? Because this is 4. They get to ultimate this next turn. So I've got exactly this turn to find another Bolt or a Snapcaster Mage. Logic not. Yep. I guess I can play this, and then I can play this Nahiri, and I can plus her into a second Bolt. For people wondering, I didn't discard the Emrakul, because the Emrakul would shuffle my graveyard full of non-bolts back into my deck before I drew. Getting rewarded for tight play. Let's hope they have bricks from here on out. Let's hope they have bricks. Fingers crossed. Don't dragon me again. Don't bloodbraid me. This is another combustible Gear Hulk. Holy shit. That is certainly a thing that has just come into play. Thank you, Tino. A regular expression with the 5-month resubscription. I think we're supposed to gamble, right? Have them draw 3? No. They hit exactly 10. Exactly 10. Remember, Magic is a variance by design game, and the decisions you make aim to mitigate that variance, not completely remove it. So, you know, sometimes you just get got. Blessed Alliance kills their Dargon, so we're gonna board this in. Staticaster plus a Lightning Bolt kills their Dargon, so I'm gonna board it in. Should have cut Spell Snare last game, wasn't thinking about it. I think this is a mulligan, right? We're bad against Blood Moon. We're okay against Choke. No, discarding the Emrakul is part of the cost of putting Nahiri's ability on the stack. And then when the Emrakul enters the graveyard, its triggered ability goes in the stack on top of Nahiri's draw effect. So it'll shuffle and resolve beforehand. It does have a bunch of Serum Visions. Yeah, that's true. All right, I'm going to keep it. Yeah, what? We get 2 draw steps plus 6 looks. This is probably okay. I think I'm supposed to bottom aggressively here. Search actually isn't that good in this matchup because of the Blood Moons and the Stone Rains and stuff. Oh, is the only cost loyalty? I might be wrong. Am I wrong? Discard if you do draw. Yeah, you're right, chat. You're right. It definitely shuffles in after you draw. Chat is correct. I am wrong. I'm going to keep this bolt because it means when we get Blood Moon next turn, I still have a castable spell. I'm an adult. I can admit when I'm wrong. Can admit when I've read something incorrectly and didn't understand it. Utopia's Brawl and Stomping Ground is interesting, because that means when they eventually Blood Moon us, that it's going to fall off. Do they not have another land? Well, this is quite good for us. This is quite good. I'm going to hold up Logic Knot this turn, I think. Am I? Nah, I'm going to Serum Visions. Let's dig. Well, that is quite excellent, chat. That is what we call exactly what the doctor ordered. Get out of here. Get you. Who's the Stone Rain deck now? Where's your god now, opponent? Smoke if you got him, yep. Ooh, we found a piece of candy, chat. A hairy-shaped candy. And just like that, our opponent has a very, very short window to get on the board and interact with us, or they're dead. Yeah. You know, I talked about like not being a huge fan of Jeksai. It's been a long time since I've played Jeksai with Nahiri in it. I really like this combination of planeswalkers in this deck. I like it a lot. My main feedback so far is definitely on the sideboard and like I hate these logic knots. These logic knots should be mana leaks, I think. But aside from these turning into mana leaks, I think I like the main deck here. And the sideboard needs some cleanup. I definitely want some negates in here. Honestly, I feel like with Nahiri and Gideon, I just don't really need Geist of Saint Traft in this sideboard. I feel like Geist of Saint Traft is a card other Jeksai decks that don't have win conditions in the main deck need to board in. I think with Nahiri and Gideon, that's just not the case. I think I'd want at least 2 negates in my sideboard. I'd have to think on what else I want past that, but I definitely think like these slots are probably suspect. I think this Rest in Peace is probably nonsense. I probably, if I want an anti-graveyard card, maybe play like another Anger of the Gods in my sideboard. So, but yeah, I like a lot of what this deck has going on. This might, and I like dirtily kind of mid-range control decks like this. This might get added to my list of things that I start testing for Kentucky next month when I go to the Louisville Open at the end of May. We boarded in Damping Sphere against Ad Nauseam, and it was very reasonable there. Yeah, another sweeper could be... We have Settle the Wreckage is like a pseudo-sweeper. But honestly, this deck doesn't really have any creatures in it, so like just having another actual sweeper in the sideboard probably isn't unreasonable. What should I sideboard specifically for Living End, since there are 2 in a pool of 20 at my LGS? I would recommend having at least 3+ negates, and maybe Rest in Peace is good enough there if you're expecting Living End, but that's one of the few matches where a deck like this really wants Rest in Peace, I think. Yeah, I agree. It's not good with the searches, it's not good with the logic knots. Well, the logic knots are going to go away, but it's not good with the searches, and it's not good with the snaps. So... yeah, I was super impressed that they put Damping Sphere at uncommon. Like, this is a card they very easily could have put at rare to sell a lot of booster packs, because a lot of people are going to need them for modern. We haven't played against Red-Black Hallowed One, but we beat a Vengevine Hallowed One amalgamation in the first round of this league. We are currently 3-1. I conceded a match to Living End just because this deck, as constructed, doesn't really have tools to beat Living End. And rather than sit there and be miserable in a matchup that's mostly impossible, I just concede them and move on. So Sweltering Suns is more flexible, but it's the less powerful card. Anger of the Gods cleans up a lot of hard matchups and cards like Voice of Resurgence and Kitchen Finks that are very annoying for a deck like Jeksai. And with 4 copies of Nahiri in our deck, we kinda don't really need the flexibility that Sweltering Suns provides because we have Nahiri. Yeah, honestly, I think Settle the Wreckage is a very underplayed card in Modern. I think we're going to see more and more of that see play. The fact that it's a sweeper style effect that creature decks are able to play is a huge deal. Having played with the red-white prison decks off and on, I don't think Damping Sphere solves problems that archetype had. That archetype already had a bunch of cards that were very reasonable. Against decks where Dampening Sphere are good. and I don't think Dampening Sphere adds or fixes anything that the deck does. I think a big part of what makes those style of decks bad is just that they don't have good card quality. It's not a lack of lock pieces. So again, chat, if you're new to the stream, when you want to suggest a card, don't ask me to defend why I'm not playing it. You should make a suggestion with reason, with thought, with emphasis. You should say, hey, you should play this card because, and then tell me why the card you want me to play is good. Tell me what problem my deck has that the card you're suggesting we add solves. That's how you want to approach deck building in a game like Magic. You want to be fixing problems with every change you make to a deck. Dampening Sphere doesn't cheese anyone out. One of the reasons why Dampening Sphere is such a well-designed and good Magic card is it basically only does fair things. It basically only does fair things. Some kind of control mirror here. Maybe they're playing a breach. If they're playing a breach deck, our hand is pretty bad. I'm just going to snap the Serum Visions here and try and get more pressure into play and get more velocity going. Try and find some Cryptic Commands or something. Maybe you should tweet at MTG Arena, or maybe ask someone who's streaming Arena as opposed to like screaming that into a... Sometimes I wonder if people get the Twitch chat box confused with their Google search box. Maybe that's why I don't understand how people type into Twitch chat. Maybe they think it's Google. Looks like they're playing something fair, so that's good for us potentially. I'm gonna pat this, try and get it out of the way. Alexa, find nudes. A lot of people are about to learn that we don't joke around with timing people out here. Or those were all temporary timeouts. But just know that we're very serious about those around here. The goal of the chat is to allow people to be constructive. And if there's a lot of people just spamming lots of random stuff like a lot of Twitch chats tend to turn into, it's hard for it to be constructive, and it takes away from people that want to use it in that way. If you open the deck list queue, there is a link to the deck list in there. More lands is not what we're looking for. Do I want this bolt? Maybe. We don't have a lot of good tools against these go wide style deck like what our opponent has. Roasted, my poor Snapcaster Mage. We've not played against Grixis Control yet. We've not played the Grixis Control deck yet today. It's going to be the deck after this one. So this is actually the 5th match in this league, so we will be playing Grixis Control next. What's my general opinion of Wizards of the Coast? They are really good at designing trading card games, and they are really bad at making managerial-based decisions. If you type !donation queue in chat, that'll give you a link to all of the decks that people have put into the donation queue. I always put the decks that we're going to be playing today at the very top of the queue list. Details on how donation decks work can be found at bit.ly/HugelSellout, all lowercase. Oh, you know what? I shouldn't have used my Field of Ruin here, because it's actually going to find me my 4th basic, which means that their Field of Ruin is going to turn into a wasteland. This was actually a mistake here on my part, because I drew these other 2 lands. For possible Azcanta, yeah, that too. But it was definitely wrong in the context of the fact that I had my basics in my hand. Yeah, the fair interactive decks that are interested in disrupting the opponent's mana generally prefer Field of Ruin to Ghost Quarter, because these decks don't want to put themselves behind land drops. So they have 4 cards left. It doesn't look like we're behind here, but the fact that, like, I just have another Gideon and a mountain in my hand means we're a little bit behind. I think I'm gonna hold this mountain in my hand in case we draw a Nahiri. So I don't subscribe to the school of thought that you need to be able to cast every spell in your deck off of basic lands. The odds of you fetching all 3 of your islands against a Blood Moon deck are low. We also have 4 main deck ways in Nahiri to take a Blood Moon off the table, so long as we have our basic planes out. And past all of those things, you really want a basic mountain against opposing decks that have Field of Ruin in them, so they can't Field of Ruin you off of red mana or Ghost Quarter you off of red mana. And you want a basic mountain against aggressive decks, so you can fetch a basic and not fetch shock to get a red source when you need to be preserving your health total. So I think there are a lot of reasons to not play a 3rd island. I honestly, or to play the mountain explicitly. I wouldn't mind having a 3rd island in this deck in general, but I definitely wouldn't cut the basic mountain for it. I think if I wanted a 3rd island, I'd probably consider cutting one of the 2 Field of Ruins. They might be greedy in general in this mana base, especially 2 of them. Yeah, that's good. It's the worst land in my deck, and I'll never leave home without it. That's a good way to put it. If they flip this thing in the ice, my Snapcaster Mage pops back to my hand, and then I can Snap Path their thing in the ice, which is great for us. We're still pretty in this game, considering our opponent had a turn 1 Ancestral Visions, and our draw's been real bad. It's going to be a Snap Roast here. I don't actually know the answer to that question. That'd be a question for a judge. Well, I'm not skipping a deck that we already have in the queue today, Justin. But I'd be, oh, but that's terrifying. Yep. All right, we really need our one of Supreme Verdict here. This is definitely a matchup where I wish I had multiple Supreme Verdicts. That's probably something I'd consider changing about the deck list. All right, that's a Nahiri. So she gets to tick up. I'm going to bin this second Gideon, so that way if we're a Lucker and hit our 1 of Supreme Verdict, we can cast it. It's a Field of Ruin. Yep, the opponent's deck is very well set up for beating other fair interactive decks, which is part of the reason why I tend to shy away from these more fair decks in Modern, is because even when they're a deck like this that I really kind of enjoy, I feel like there's always some crazy amount of greedy, obnoxious people out there that just like want the fair matchup way more than I do and are willing to throw all of their other matchups in the garbage can to get there. Like, could you imagine if my opponent's deck's full of Remans and all Dirtle like played against Burn? Like, they're never going to win in a million years. They took Gideon off the table and not Nahiri. God bless. God bless us, everyone. That's an Emrakul. That's sad. All right. I'm sure they have another Cryptic Command. They could also possibly have Snap Cryptic Command here. They're through half their deck, so I assume we're just going to die here. I don't really have a deck that I really think is better than the rest in Modern. So I would look to find a deck that I enjoy playing more than anything else. Most of the decks in Modern are just like pretty close in power level to each other. I'm gonna have to settle down and pick one for Louisville next month, but I don't know. Taking Magic too seriously is a good recipe for getting frustrated a lot of the time, in my opinion, because there's enough variance in this game that it's much more enjoyable to just play Magic casually. And playing a lot of different sweet decks is more fun than just like focusing on one and then being upset with the results. So if we get to flip this search for Azcanta, we get what, 6 looks at a Supreme Verdict here? So that's pretty sweet. None of these things are the droid I'm looking for, unfortunately. We know my opponent has a Snapcaster Mage in their hand because they bounced it with their Awoken Horror, so I'm just going to go ahead and concede and get to the next game here. I don't really enjoy playing Humans or Hallowed One as decks, so like, I play Magic to have fun. So if I was going to play a tournament and I felt obligated to play Humans or Hallowed One, I'd rather just skip the tournament. Magic's not a game where even when you're winning, you're making that much money. So if you're not enjoying yourself, you should go do something else. Dispel's pretty good here. Spell Snare is fine. Maybe I'm supposed to trim some Cryptic Commands because my opponent's likely boarding into Dispels. Hey, Tristram Alexander, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime support. I do appreciate that. As always, subscriptions are one of the best ways you can support what I do here. So thanks for sending your Amazon Fund money this way this month. If you enjoy playing Hallowed One, more power to you. Like, if you enjoy playing the deck that's one of the best decks in the format, that's great. I just, I don't really enjoy the play patterns that it creates, so it's just not for me. And that's okay. Magic and games like Magic are great because there are a lot of different things to a lot of different people. I don't think the unfair matchups are places where this really has issues, and I think trying to board into a 5-mana spell against decks that are faster than you sounds like a recipe for disaster. The winning KCI list would be a fine $12 donation deck list. Basically anything that's tier 1 or tier 2 in the format's fine as a normal donation deck. Something like this. Maybe Damping Sphere is fine here. They definitely chain more cantrips than we do, but it's probably loose. Geist is okay. The problem with Geist, I guess we're going to keep Young Pyromancer cleared a lot of the time. So maybe Geist is fine. I don't know. The opponent's deck is just like full of Snapcaster Mages and 3/4s and 2/1s. Like, I'm just not a huge fan of like. I'm not a big fan of Geist in general. It's like, sure, the removal can't hit it, but like they have a bunch of creatures in their deck. I am standing up currently. I have a desk with a motor in either leg, and it goes up and down as needed. Especially when I do longer streams like this, it's nice because sitting for 12 hours straight is generally bad for your body. So I try to do 50-50. I'm also kind of a bouncy person, so like it allows me to move and vibrate a little bit here. My Magic Online tolerance is pretty high. Am I just slamming in a Nahiri next turn? I think I'm just slamming into Nahiri next turn. Hey, Loodles with the brand new Twitch Prime support. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. As always, subscriptions are one of the best way you can support what I do here. So thanks for putting your Amazon fund money towards my channel this month. And if we get Blood Moon, we get Blood Moon. If this deck is similar to the deck that was played at the Pro Tour, the blue-red deck that was played at the Pro Tour actually didn't play Blood Moons in their 75. Jadem with the brand new Twitch Prime support. Thank you for that. Welcome to the stream. Shock. Okay. Shock plays. They must have Cryptic Command here, right? That's what shocking to leave their 5th mana up indicates. I'm going to send a Bolt upstairs, but I'm not going to Snapcaster Mage. I'm reading Cryptic Command here based on their sequencing of their lands. Okay, and then they're gonna snap a bolt here, and then I'm gonna snap bolt their Snapcaster Mage, I think. I often refer to Jeksai in this stream as the thinking person's burn deck, so like, you know. It's like a burn deck that gets to draw cards on occasion. I think Settle the Wreckage is just good in general. I'm actually don't really like Settle the Wreckage in this deck specifically. I like Settle the Wreckage in decks that are more creature based, but this deck has few enough creatures in it that I think I'd rather just have this Settle be a Supreme Verdict. You think this Settle not being a Supreme Verdict's probably wrong? Is one of the things I would change about this deck. I snapped Bolt over holding up the Logic Knot because I don't think they have anything I'd care about too much, Shredder, and I want to get my clock on the table to stop pressuring them. So this demands they have another answer in their hand. And if they don't, I'm going to get to pressure them with it. Like, they're down to 6 now. So I think the Snapcaster line's the more aggressive line. Settle is better against Bogles, but that's kind of narrow. Yeah, when you plus Nahiri, you discard a card, so you just discard the Emrakul. I'm gonna go ahead and just color fix here. Sweet. Colonnade's online. So down to 4. I think firing up the Colonnade there is too aggressive just because, like, I think my opponent has Cryptic Command. They're like almost certainly a 4x Cryptic Command deck. And, like, they haven't cast one in 23 cards, so pretty good chance they have Cryptic. I'm going to bolt their dome here. Okay, yep. Okay, so Ancestral, that's a good draw. Ancestral, so I was going to fire up this Colonnade, and then we drew Lightning Bolt. If I hadn't drawn Lightning Bolt, I was going to fire up Colonnade this turn, since they're going to get Ancestral next turn anyways. And now, with this Lightning Bolt, I want to try and kill them during their upkeep, because this way, if my opponent has enough counter spells to win the fight over this Lightning Bolt, it will require them to spend mana on their turn cycles. That way, this Colonnade is more likely to kill them. I really think it depends on the context of, like, what your Jeksai deck looks like, or, like, what the deck you're playing. This a Logic Knot for Infinite here. Smells like it. For 6, so they have 5, so I need to Logic Knot them for 6 back. This is a reason Logic Knot is better than Mana Leak, because not only because we're paying more here, but also Logic Knot dodges Spell Snare. Because remember, the X in Logic Knot's cost is included in its converted mana cost while it's on the stack. So both these Logic Knots have a converted mana cost of 8 currently. This is a good line on the opponent's part. They're countering and returning the Colonnade, so that way they only have to answer my Snapcaster Mage in order to not die next turn. So good play on the opponent's part. They get 4 draws at a Lightning Bolt here to kill me. Yeah, you're correct that Logic Knotting for 5 would be sufficient. They'd die. So they had 4 looks at a Bolt here, land plus Roast. Roast probably isn't in their deck anymore, though. Huh. The way that game played out, maybe I do want Geist. Maybe I do want this to just, like, saddle up and run him down. Maybe. It's probably a lot worse than the draw. So, Clique, I'm not sure that anyone argues that Burning Inquiry is not okay on a power level standpoint. I think the discussion I've seen focused around Burning Inquiry by and large is that Burning Inquiry is just a card that generates, like, bad games of Magic, or, like, feel bad games of Magic, however you want to phrase it. And, like, not having cards in the format that, like, encourage those feel bad games, I think is ideal. Hey, Mr. Hello, with the 3-month resubscription. Thank you very much, and welcome back. I appreciate the continued support, a quarter of a year. It's not even about salt, right? Like, I think if my definition of good TCG gameplay is one that allows or encourages both players to make meaningful decisions in a match of Magic. And I think Burning Inquiry creates games of Magic where one player or both players get to make no meaningful decisions, which I think makes it a bad card from a game design standpoint. Thanks on the stack. I appreciate the comment. Thanks for watching today. Yeah, Snare, they also have Thing in the Ice. I think I'm going to trim a path and bring this Helix back in just so I can race a little bit more. I want some paths to deal with Thing in the Ices, but between Spell Snare and some of my other tools, 3 paths is probably plenty. This hand's okay. Like, not excited about it, but like, our deck's full of spells that make these Snapcaster Mages excellent, so I think I'm gonna keep this. Snapcaster Mage is also great because we can like end step on their turn Snapcaster Mage, they try and fight over it, and then like untap and slam a Nahiri. Hey, Swanky Tiger 666, thank you very much for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. As always, my subscribers are the folks that keep me here doing what I do, so thank you for becoming one of those. Cryptic's an okay draw. It's technically a spell that makes the Snapcaster good eventually, but it's really slow. This hand is not good against a fast Thing in the Ice. My argument about game design and things that feel good, bad, or otherwise in no way is intended to apply to the cards that you personally should feel good or bad about playing. I don't think it is not the player's job. It is not your job as a Magic player to balance Wizards' game. It's on Wizards of the Coast, the company that owns and creates and balances Magic the Gathering, to decide and make decisions what is good and bad game design and what should and shouldn't be legal in Modern. So my discussion of what creates good games of Magic and whatnot, that's intended to be discussion towards what Wizards of the Coast should and shouldn't have and create and be legal in the format. That's what I'm intended. It's not intended to dictate and say, hey, you should or shouldn't play this given archetype. That's not what I mean when I talk about that. I'm talking about it from a format balancing perspective. I think creating enjoyable gameplay, and this is something that's definitely subjective, right? Like, what one person enjoys and what another person enjoys are going to be different. That's why I like to quantify what I'm saying by saying I think good gameplay and then describe what I think good gameplay and the expectation I try to meet with it. No, the Goryo's gift deck is just clunky and bad. I don't play it. I don't think anything should be banned in Humans. I think Humans is exactly the type of deck that you want to be one of the best decks in the format. Interactive decks like Jeksai and Jund are good against Humans, and Humans is good against decks that are really degenerate. What I want to do here, our plan of drawing spells to make these Snapcaster Mages be good has not panned out for us. Not in the slightest. I'm going to sit down while I think about this. Enjoy the ride, chat. Enjoy the ride. We've got a minute. I feel like this is an important turn. It might just be Flooded Strand pass and like end step try and Cryptic bounce their thing. That could be okay. I could also just like stick Search for Azcanta, play a tapped line. Maybe it's just stick Search. Search will probably draw out a Cryptic Command. I'm gonna give Earthbounder a timeout there. Calling people names is not constructive. You can give feedback and talk about something you like or don't like without being whiny. Like, talking about things we like and don't like and what makes games good, bad, and otherwise, that's how you have a discussion about something. Just because someone's talking about something that you don't agree with doesn't automatically make them whiny or a crybaby or whatever other names you want to sling at them. Like, don't be obnoxious. Really wish I had 2 Supreme Verdicts to draw to right now. Really wish I had 2 Supreme Verdicts to draw to right now. Why didn't I play the search earlier? Because I was talking to chat and not thinking about it. We could have played search on turn 2, turn 3, whatever turn we drew it. I don't think you need to ban Collected Company to unban Birthing Pod. I think that's kind of silly. Oh, I wanted to fix my mana that turn, but then maybe that was wrong. I don't know. I think what actually ended up happening was that I had in my head, and this is a mental shortcut that I do that you'll hear me talk about it catching up with me on stream quite often. A mental shortcut that you can do to make yourself play Magic faster, and I play Magic pretty quickly, especially compared to most people, is that you should figure out what you are doing on your turn during your opponent's turn. And then the key to that is you need to quickly reassess what you're going to be doing the following turn when you draw your one card for the turn. And some of the times I get myself into trouble where I kind of go into autopilot, especially when I'm talking about and reading chat, where I draw my card for the turn and then I autopilot through the decision I kind of already made in my head previously, and then I get punished for it with my sequencing. There are a bunch of things in the ban list that could be unbanned. I think it's kind of comical, the things that are legal in Modern and some of the things that still remain on the ban list. I'd unban Pod, I'd unban Splinter Twin, I'd unban probably Cloud Post, I'd unban Stoneforge Mystic, I'd unban Dig Through Time. And like before you freak out and say, oh, Jeff, those cards are so powerful, you have to remember that power level is contextual. This is a format where Jace the Mind Sculptor isn't good enough to see consistent play. This is a format where you regularly die on the third turn of the game. So when you tell me something that's too good, it needs to be too good in the context of the format that we're playing. I think we're dead here. The chances of them not having a spell are really low. Yeah, Cloud Post is banned. I actually think that I agree with your sentiment that Tron lands are better than Cloud Post by and large a lot of the time. I guess I could have tried to stick Nahiri there. I could have tried to stick Nahiri. I had in my head that they were... I should have tried to stick this. They had 3 mana up, but we were dead. We're pretty dead anyways. The chance of them not having a cantrip are pretty low. So if we cast Nahiri and they have a counterspell, we're guaranteed dead, whereas this way they have to have a proactive spell. But not playing the Nahiri is probably playing to not lose. I could also like try and ambush with these and like try and draw to Supreme Verdict, but yeah. So I think the actual answer is that the end result would have been the same there. We could have maybe they didn't have it. Maybe it would have been one of the times they didn't have it. All right. Comments on this deck list. I like the main deck a lot. We talked a few times about Logic Knot being awkward, and I kind of prefer this to be Mana Leak, especially in the context of Nahiri being able to loot away Mana Leaks when it's bad later. I think I want a second Supreme Verdict at the very least in the 75. I think these Geist Sustain Trafts are kind of redundant in this build of Jeksai. I would look to change those. I think Rest in Peace is kind of awkward and bad. I would probably play one more Anger and like another Supreme Verdict, or maybe just Anger plus Settle is fine, and just like go up to 4 sweepers overall. But like I said, I like the core of this main deck. I might fit another basic into the mana base. Playing Field of Rune Mirrors, you really want a 5th basic, so like turning a Field of Rune into another island's probably fine. So another reasonable deck went 3-2 because Modern's a 3-2 format. So here's the thing. I'm going to record this as part of the video. This is, what you've done here is repeated what's repeated constantly. Birthing Pod is banned for design space reasons, and it's rather than its power level in Modern. I feel like it creates a lot of headaches for Wizards R&D. So Wizards R&D needs to shit or get off the pot. They need to tell me either one, you don't design cards with Modern in mind, so when you print Colorless Eldrazi and Eldrazi Temple and I break it, that's not your fault. Or two, you do design cards with Modern in mind, so Birthing Pod has to be banned because you can't design things because it might break Modern. So like on one side, they tell me Birthing Pod had to get banned because it restricts design space. Then on the other side, they come back and they go, well, Colorless Eldrazi were only too strong, so we don't design with Modern in mind. It's like, well, which of these two things is true? Because one of them is true and one of them isn't. Don't stop waffling. Don't lie to me. One of these two things is a lie because they can't both happen at the same time. And then the other side of that is, sure, I do think Birthing Pod at some point could be really obnoxious and degenerate. Ban it when it becomes obnoxious and degenerate. Don't ban things in advance because of something that might happen at some point in a distant future, but we're really not sure if it could ever really happen, but it might, so we're gonna ban it now. Like, that's silly. That's silly in my opinion. Ban it when it becomes a problem, not 4 years in advance. All right, done ranting. Next deck, we're going to play some Grixis Control next, chat.